What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Adult Algorithm, the How to Adult podcast, and I'm your host, Jasmine Johnson. Yes, if you are on YouTube, hi, how are you? I know I'm doing it on Zoom once more, but I am bringing you guys some more polls at the end of today's episode from my Instagram. Last week, it was awesome. I had amazing results, and I got even better feedback and results from these polls that I posted for this week and that relate to this week's episode. I'm so excited. For the people who are listening on the normal podcast platforms, you obviously cannot see me, but because I upload it on YouTube, I usually do a shirt of the week. I am once again saying the shirt of the week on the regular podcast instead of a segment on the YouTube one. I am wearing a Black Lives Matter shirt. As you can tell from the episode, it is going to be a crazy ride. Get ready. If you want to be educated, then you are here for a good reason. The shirt is the names of many of the women and men, Black women and men, who have suffered from police brutality and was brutally murdered through police brutality at the hands of the people that are supposed to be protecting us. So I got this shirt for my birthday from somebody who is like my cousin, April, who has April's Emporium. You can find her on Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. 10 out of 10 if you need t-shirts or even masks. I got some beautiful Black Lives Matter masks from her as well. Would totally recommend it. I'm really excited for today's episode. Episode 7 already. It is going to be a long one. I'm sorry that I'm probably already making this intro a little longer than it should be. But if you really are interested in today's episode, we would love to hear your feedback. If you're new here, hi, welcome. How are you? We are the Adult Algorithm podcast, the How to Adult podcast. Why does Black Lives Matter relate to How to Adult? I mean, for me in my adult life, it's been everything for me. You know, realizing where I am as a person, as a woman of color, the things I can do to help the people that don't have a voice or have a platform. I've been able to use my platform to help spread all of the awareness for Black Lives Matter and the Black Lives Matter movement. And y'all are in for an amazing treat. Our guest today is one of my favorite people on this entire planet. I'm so excited for you guys to hear what she has to say. And basically, yeah, I'm like out of breath because I'm just so excited. We have also, drumroll please, picked our AA production team for our podcast. It's going to be a team of 5, including me. I am not going to announce them yet, so you can head over to our Instagram to meet them right on there in their positions and get to know a little bit about them. And hopefully you will be hearing from them very soon. I'm really excited for it. You guys are going to have an amazing treat in a couple weeks when we start to get everything going. And yeah, don't forget to give us some feedback wherever you're listening from. We would love to see it. Give us a rating. Give us all of the constructive criticism you can so we can get better from here on out. And we're really excited. We also have a kind of question and topic form that is in our link tree in our bio of our Instagram if you want to submit any questions or topics you would like to hear on our episodes. Now, without further ado, let's get right into the episode. Hi, Diamond.
Hello, gorgeous.
How are you?
I'm well. How you doing?
Very good.
Good.
Thank you so much for coming on. You are such an icon, first of all. And
Thanks, girl.
to tell a little bit about how we met.
Okay, let's tell it.
Who gonna tell her?
You tell it.
Okay,
listen.
So this gorgeous girl hit me up and asked if I wanted to go on the road show with her, which if you're from Rhode Island, you know what that is, to model some bridesmaids dresses with her.
Yeah.
I was like, are you kidding? I'm not going to pass this opportunity up. It was perfect. I didn't have work that day. I didn't have class. I was like, hell yeah, I'll be there.
Okay.
So then we get there and I'm like, oh my God, this gorgeous icon right in front of me. I'm like, okay, act cool. And then, so we start, getting into it, everything. And then we meet this woman who is like the person who's like promoting the dresses. And she was, cool, whatever. I was just like, oh, okay, this is how it's gonna be.
So we were like getting dressed and everything. I know my dress like did not fit. Like, oops. I did get it like clipped in the back. I was like, please don't ask me to turn around because it's clipped in the back. So you know, we're chilling and
Oh Lord.
the camera starts rolling.
Listen, I already knew it was going down. I knew it was going down. I knew it because I remember just verifying with her. I'm like, I'm Diamond, that's Jazz. Like, she's like, oh, yeah. And then she asked us again what our names was. And I was like, okay, well, this is going to be fine. This is going to be fine. Please continue.
Yeah. And as you can see, we we're both beautiful Black women, but
beautiful Black women. Yes, obviously.
So the camera starts rolling. All of a sudden she calls Diamond Jasmine. And I was like, you can see videos, like my friends were making compilations of like your face and like how pissed you were, but you held your composure. You just like did the eye thing. And I was cracking up and like I was about to, like, if Diamond went full ham, I was going to, but then she kept her composure, so I did. So yeah. And then she called
smiling though.
Diamond.
I look like a serial killer.
Yeah, it was so uncomfortable. She didn't even realize it. Had no clue. And then Diamond was like, I'm gonna say something. I was so scared, but I was just like, oh my God, this woman would definitely protect me if somebody swung. So it was
definitely... listen, I was just like upset because I feel like we made it very clear to her who we were, just because she, I'm assuming, was tired from traveling and all this good stuff, but it was just embarrassing for us, girl, because that was our time to shine on TV, girl, in our town. And it was still great. Yeah, we like have a relationship from that moment ever since, so it was like worth the screw up.
Yep.
But I mean, respectfully, how hard is it?
So today, on today's episode 7, we will be talking about Black Lives Matter and why I decided to, kind of put this on my show is, we are the Adult Algorithm, the How to Adult podcast, but this is like very important things that people need to know and people need to see from our perspectives. So it's very important. So Diamond is, I literally saw you at, the second Providence protest? I turned around and you were right there.
Yeah, the largest one, the record-making, history-making, 10,000 plus people.
Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Girl, full force.
Like, it was absolutely
full force.
Yep, full force.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
I think the protests were really like well put together. The speakers there were really great. Police didn't really bother us at all. But yeah, they were in their SWAT uniforms. Like those were the 2 most peaceful things I've ever been to. Like I've never felt safer in an environment until I looked on the State House steps.
Stairs. Yeah.
SWAT uniforms.
It was overwhelming, but the part that got me was the young white man who had the audacity to be 2 stairs away from these police officers, and they didn't make a sound. They didn't make a move. They didn't flinch. But if I even put the tip of my toe on the stairs, full force, full charge, all because of the color of my skin.
Right.
So even, like, even with any of us protesters that were readily available to protect one another, those men did not care about our existence in the slightest. If any of us decided to make a move because we felt at that point in time it was necessary to do so, because our voices weren't being heard, because we weren't loud enough, bullets.
Yeah.
Not even, I highly doubt they would even give us an opportunity to explain ourselves. You know, just from past, you know, watching Breonna Taylor's story, Ahmaud Arbery's story, like, unfortunately, white people in power do not care about Black lives as much as they should, or equally to other lives.
Yeah.
And it shows. It shows.
Yeah.
So, you know, like, the protest is beautiful, but girl, I was ready for anything.
It's when you go to things like that, you have to be. And I think the people that were there, you know, a majority of them were there and ready. But I don't know if 100% were.
Right.
I don't know if 100% of them would have started running.
This is true.
Yeah.
Because it's real life. That's real.
It is.
That's real.
This is the stuff we go. I don't think people know. And like I said before, like, I posted polls, which I'll talk about later in my episode, but the polls on my story, and it's just like, when I wake up to, you know, 236 people saying yes, Black Lives Matter, but those 4 people that said no are going to get under my skin. Same with
Lord.
Yep. And the
how
same
could it not?
Exactly. And with the other 2 polls I did, the other one was white privilege. Do you think white privilege exists? And systemic racism. And, you know, the no's are going to get under my skin.
Because they are just so uneducated. They are naive, oblivious, and denial. It's like, where are you asleep? Do you just like live your entire life sleepwalking? You know, like, like, where are you? Where are you really?
Yeah.
You know, like
where are you? Where we're asking.
Like, you don't have to be, like, fully woke, but you, like, if you like stop in real time and take a look around, watch the news, get on social media, like, anything, ask people, talk to your friends, see what they've heard. It takes nothing to fully understand that white privilege very much is a thing, has been a thing, always apparently will be a thing, unfortunately, but it's the only thing. There's no Black privilege, there's no biracial privilege, there's no Hispanic privilege, Latino privilege, Asian privilege. There ain't none of that.
Yep.
It's this one. Now, how could that possibly be if white people weren't in power?
And it's funny, I digress. We were just talking about the second presidential debate from last night, Thursday.
Man.
And we were like baffled that, you know, this man, who is the most white privileged person in the United States, people, he literally, oh my God, people really think that he's not racist, and that he does so much for the Black. And when he was talking about, you know, okay, you might do a lot for the HBCUs, but you only signed a paper. You only signed that paper. You take credit for other people's work in Congress. It's like disgusting. And people are like, oh, he does so much for the Black community. His justice reform is very similar to the 1994 crime bill that you were bashing Joe Biden on. And now, looking at Joe Biden's justice reform, it's very different from back then, because hello, it's not 1994 anymore. Like, hello, are you oblivious, sir? Oh, and then he said wind kills birds. Oh, hell no. That's when I was like, oh, okay, that just justified everything.
Listen, I was like in my bed, like, it was, I feel like, okay, so like past presidential debates, like there were like obvious points being made, and like a literal definition of a debate.
Mhm.
These past two debates have been nothing short of like a geriatric like fighting show, like just like two really old dudes like just saying things, you know, to hurt one another's feelings. And it's like it was just full of like, it was just very like, it was childish.
Mm.
It was very much childish. They were not hitting the priorities for
Mhm.
the country, should I say, like the top priorities. They weren't hitting these. And the woman was, she was so patient. She was so patient, and she
Mm.
kept letting these men have all this additional time, and they were just like being like spiteful. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Trump, his mind, I don't know. And this, all of
The
this,
hands.
this, all of this, listen, had me going, because I'm like, he's talking in circles, not making any sense, moving his hands, and this is the distraction right here. Like he's not saying anything worth of value. He's just talking just to talk. You know, he wasn't making any points. And he never answered any of the questions she originally asked. Not one. I don't care. Listen, that was the craziest thing I've ever witnessed in my life. And this man, I was waiting for him to just answer a question. Just answer a question.
Answer the question, sir.
No. The whole thing, the whole time. Honestly, the thing that got me the most is I was like watching this with my man, and he was like, I'm so tired of Trump talking about his taxes. Like, where's the proof? He's been saying this for 4 years. And seconds later, Joe Biden was allowed to speak, and he was like, he's been saying this for 4 years. Stop talking about it, be about it. Where are your taxes? I was like, yes, sir. Where are your taxes? But let me tell you, I was unaware that you could prepay taxes, girl.
I'm an accounting major, and I didn't know that. So,
girl, I'm about to send in the forms. The president said you could prepay taxes. He said millions of dollars he prepaid. So he is up to date. Okay. And that $750 tax was just a filing fee.
Yeah,
I'm
just
trying
the
to find
filing
out where he
fee.
filed his taxes. I'm trying to file my taxes where he filed his, so I can prepay mine in advance. The lies, the delusions.
Oh my God.
Like, he over here talking about some vaccines coming in a few weeks. The lady said, let me be clear, a few weeks. This man says, no, maybe not in a few weeks, but before, January.
Okay, sir.
I'm overwhelmed, honestly, and I'm so fearful for the future. Real talk. It's not in good hands now.
Yeah.
And like Joe Biden, unfortunately, is the only other option at this point. That doesn't mean he's the best option. It just means he's the only option.
Yep.
So it's like,
yep. It's like, if Trump gets voted out, then he's voted out. But if he doesn't, then we have to fight and make sure that America stays intact for 4 more years, and then he can never motherfucking run again.
Ever. That'll be. You know what? He's not gonna win. We're not gonna give him that energy, because when you put it out there like as a possibility, it somehow
we're manifesting for Joe. Yeah.
We're manifesting for Joe. Honestly, I'm manifesting for Kamala, because Joe finna be checked in somewhere. Bless his soul. He is just not one of them old men. Let me tell you, there were so many times in the debate where I thought this man was going to sleep. He was like, I was like, yo, is he sleeping? Somebody wake this man up. I'm like, you really falling asleep at a debate, sir? I'm like, he's boring you that much? It was more of a comedic show for me than it actually was a political presidential debate. What 12 days? 12 days before election day? They out here having a slap and fight on national television.
Kamala, we're rooting for you, girlfriend.
Praying for you, girl. Praying for you. role models out here. But the other ones, I honestly just feel like white men have been in power too long. And at this point, like, even though Joe Biden has nothing to show for what his 48 years in like government, he has nothing to show for it. Even though he doesn't. Continuously having white men run our country has done nothing but proven to fail.
Yeah.
The best 8 years we had was when Barack Obama was our president.
Yeah.
At the moment this Entertainment Weekly, you're fired dude was hired because he couldn't get no more entertainment jobs, the world went to shit. And it's just
Entertainment Weekly.
Like, the world's just not where it used to be. There's so many changes and none of them are like for the better. I feel like we're going backwards. And like, even having Joe as our president, he's again locked away soon. So Kamala will, slide her way to the forefront, make that history timeline, do her best, even though she has nothing to show for her 40 something years in government either. But we will take anything other than Trump and old timer Biden.
It's hard because this entire just presidential election, people keep just saying that Joe is so irrelevant. It's all about Trump. Joe is the most irrelevant person in this entire presidential election. And it's all about Trump at this point. It's all about getting him out. And I mean, the fact that, people think that he is, doing the most for people of color in this country. And I've talked to people who are like educated on it. When they tell me, I go and look it up and I'm like, ooh, I don't know if they looked this up before. Because the first article says, oh, did Trump really do that? And I'm reading, I'm like, oh, I guess he didn't. All the people, when I did my Trump-Biden poll, all the people that voted for Trump so there were 400 and something people that did Biden on the poll, and only 20 something did for Trump. All of those 20 something people were white, cis, straight women and men. Coincidence?
I think not.
I think not.
I think not.
Wild. So I
sad.
actually have a couple questions for you.
Okay, let's go. Girl, I love questions.
About your experience as a Black woman in this country.
Girl.
Well, the first one was, what were your initial thoughts when Black Lives Matter 2020 started, like this year?
Honestly, I was shocked, and I'll tell you why. Because obviously there have been so many murders and killings and severe police brutality, injured Black people across these years, this past decade. But for whatever reason, this year, all of us collectively decided to come together, and make an actual effort. Because people talk, they're like, yeah, girl, listen, Black Lives Matter, my life matters, girl. I heard about the protests, girl. I watched it on the news. It's serious. No. Everybody, mom, dad, grandparents, nieces, nephews, children, mamas with their babies, pregnant mamas, everybody who was of color, African American, and our true, genuine, and authentic allies came out to support and fight for our lives to be valued and treated as equals. And I think this year it was very beautiful to see, especially me, because I'm old now. But
you're not even old.
Look, back in the day, but when I was in college and Black Lives Mattered then, it wasn't something that college students took paid any attention to. It wasn't a priority, should I say, back then. But this year, now more than ever, I just feel like 2020 was that's the cap. It's the 90s kids were grown now, you know, the kids after us, they catching up. Like this is our lives, you know, this is our future. And if we want to have a better one, we have to get justice somewhere.
Yeah.
Because we can't just be we can't just continue to allow our family to be murdered and killed at the hands of people who don't care that we even exist, who feel like they're superior, you know, better than us because of the color of their skin or their position or their financial status, or like, it's this year that didn't matter to the people who it did matter to. They're the ones who are committing the crimes and getting off and, you know, getting little bails, but the rest of us, we're not with it no more. And like I said, this year we all made a conscious decision to wake up, be present, show out, and do our best to get results. And it's been beautiful, you know, even with COVID. And that's the crazy thing. Do you hear what I'm saying? During the pandemic, no other year were we going through something like this. No, we weren't financially struggling any other year. We were not going through a pandemic any other year. There was nothing crazy in this country happening any other year. Crazy. This year, though, a pandemic. Like, we're wearing masks into 2022 pandemic.
Right.
Not
according to Trump, though.
Oh, not according to him. But we ain't paying him no mind. He said, girl, we're getting a vaccine in weeks, girl. It's going to be distributed all across America, girl, in weeks. Girl, we're going to be saved in weeks, he said. But coincidentally, girl, all of the states that support Trump all have extremely risen cases of COVID because they don't like to wear a mask. Girl, we got the vaccine. We got more cases. Girl, you know what? He's doing things.
We wore masks during those protests. We
collectively.
Everyone had a mask. No, not one person didn't. So simple.
And even at our protests with the 10,000 plus people, every single one of us was in a mask.
Yep.
Like, we showed up and we showed out all across the country, and it was beautiful. But what hurts the most is that the results aren't what we're asking for. The justice isn't what we're asking for.
Right.
You know, and Breonna Taylor's family wanted the men arrested. Mm-hmm. They deserve to be arrested. And what they did was wrong, is illegal, and these men out here living their best lives, doing interviews, getting paid pensions. I'm sorry. And then they had the nerve to pay the family as if that was the equivalent of these men being arrested. You can't just buy off a family after their child was brutally murdered because y'all move illegally.
Yeah. It blows my mind. Yeah. Absolutely crazy. And it's crazy. I don't know. It's sad. It really is.
Can you hear me? Because she's in school.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah. And Breonna Taylor's family is the priority. Like, we are there for them. We showed out for them. Because how can you just have your daughter successful and becoming in her own, just be taken away like that, and then just, you know, by the entire
stolen
country. Yeah, by half the country, be like, oh, well, her boyfriend was a drug dealer and she was doing drugs and blah blah blah. No,
she was in the same house as him, so she's a drug dealer, and, you know, oh well.
Yeah,
they should have answered the door. He should have never shot. Listen.
Yep.
But what really got me is that Kenneth Walker, I think his name is, her boyfriend, where they live, it is a carry state.
So
he had every right to protect his home.
Yes, he did. So
especially with the no-knock warrant. You finna knock. You finna knock or catch these bullets. And that's what happened.
And that's exactly what happened. How are you going to be so Second Amendment and then be pissed when this happened. How are you going to be so pro-gun, so Second Amendment? Don't take away my gun rights. Do not make regulations on guns. Okay, we won't. What? Watch. And then a black man does it. Oh my God. Oh my God. We can't.
You heard a
we can't
shot.
be
Bah,
having
bah,
that.
bah, bah, bah. Everybody in the house dead but the police officers because you heard one shot. The man's clip wasn't even empty. He was not in there like aiming to kill these people. He was trying to protect him and his girl.
Exactly.
Period. And these officers, not only did they break in, they started shooting the moment they broke in the house. And then this got me when I read the story about the walls being treated better than Breonna was. I was like, they really talking about the bullets in the wall, the bullets that hit other apartments through the wall, but they're not talking about the black woman whose body is lifeless in the bed after y'all had a shootout for fun. Okay. It's extremely disappointing. You know, the people who who go to class and boot camp for 600 hours, 12 weeks or something like that. Then they're given a badge and a gun and they're like, protect and serve. Yeah. It doesn't just mean protect and serve white people. You're not protecting and serving just white people. It's the people of America in that town and city that you have, you know, agreed to work to protect and serve, protect the people in your area. You know, and it's just disappointing. I can't do a police officer. Can't do a police officer. They can't be trusted.
It's wild. It is. And do you think, like, what is your stance on that? Like, do you think defunding? Do you think more regulations? Do you think abolishing? I know everyone is different across the board.
Yeah, police officers are unnecessary. Okay. If we have half of the states in the country are carry states, I think it needs to be put into motion to make all states carry states so all of us can protect ourselves against what we need to protect ourselves against. Because these men who have sworn an oath to do that cannot do that. They take lives. They don't protect them. What is the point? If they can get education and then be awarded a gun and badge after 600 hours, let me take a class. Let me take the course. Let me earn my gun and badge. Why are there specific like criterias and things people need to meet when this up here, that's not evaluated? They evaluate your eyesight. They evaluate your physical ability. They evaluate your brain function. They don't evaluate your mental state. So they're just handing guns and badges to these men who are not mentally stable enough to know what the definition of their job is. My personal opinion, not only does it need to be defunded, it needs to be abolished, and everyone who was a former police officer needs to be checked in somewhere for at least a 90-day evaluation to make sure they're okay to go back into the real world. Okay? We don't need no George Zimmermans. We don't need no more men who think they have this power and this authority that they could just go out and kill anybody they feel they want to because they look suspicious, because they don't know what they're doing, because they're minding their business, because they're living their life. We don't need anybody else out in these streets that do not value everyone the same. I don't mess with police officers. I can tell you this. If I never had to call a police officer, I would never call a police officer. There's no need. It's pointless. What am I calling you for?
Yep.
So you can fill out a report and then tell me to go pick up the report to do what? That's your job? Or is it your job to hit young men on mopeds into walls and put them in comas?
Oh my God. Yep. Oh my God.
Or is it your job to beat up a young man into a seizure? Is that your job? Is it your job to put your knee on the neck of a Black man because he used a fake $100 bill? Is that your job? Is it your job? Is it your job to gas and brutally assault protesters because they want justice? Is that your job? I would love to see police job description, because I don't think any of that is in a job description. I swear the job description is protect and serve.
This is
I swear that's in the
exactly
job
where they've
description.
pushed
So
us.
It's crazy.
we have nowhere else to go. Fed up.
Yeah.
Fed up. 2020 has been the year of exposure. You know what I'm saying? Exposure, like blast.com. Everyone, there's so many, there's so many things being resurfaced every single time a Black life is taken. It just so happens to be by the hands of either a white person or a police officer or a white police officer. Just so happens. Just so happens. It's not a coincidence. But the more lives they want to take, the more people come together to fight for justice.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Karma's everything. Karma's everything. So they'll get theirs.
Yeah, I'm manifesting it right now. Like,
You and me both.
please send help.
You hear us, Lord. You hear us.
You do.
Yeah, girl.
Absolutely crazy. Well, yeah, thank you for talking on that. And I definitely wanted to ask this because to me it's just mind-boggling. But what do you say to people that don't believe that white privilege is real? Because there is a good amount.
And that also very much boggles my mind. But like, wake up. If you're white and you can go anywhere, whether it's like lower class, middle class, high class, you can go anywhere and not be judged, not stared at, not looked up and down. That's privilege.
Facts. Period.
It's
Literally,
simple.
period. It's simple. It's plain and simple. I don't know how y'all don't get it. Period.
If you can walk into a room and not feel judged, that's privilege. Any other minority, person of color, and any other one of us is immediately judged the moment we walk into any room. Any room. Any room. Black, Spanish, Indian, Asian, like biracial.
Yeah.
Like my kid's biracial, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We go into places, they get stared at, so do I.
Yeah.
My man walks in, don't nobody pay him no mind.
Mm.
He's white.
Yep.
That's privilege.
It's huge. And that was actually
it's you know what?
Yeah.
Simple.
Simple as that. Simple as that. Blows my mind.
They're gonna have to get it. They're gonna have to get it. Because it's not rocket science. They're
there's
going
no
to
science
have to,
behind it.
or they're going to literally if you go into a hospital and you're like, oh my God, my arm is bleeding, and a Black family comes up behind you, they're gonna take you first. That's privilege.
That has been proven. That has been proven. People are like, where's the source? Look it up.
It's happened to me. It's happened to me. I have gone into a restaurant and I've placed an order and a white man has come in behind me and he got his order first. Same thing. Literally, a sandwich and a coffee, same thing. He got his shit before me. For whatever reason, I don't care, excuse or whatever. I know I waited longer for something that I was there for first.
My God.
That's privilege.
Do you think that being in an interracial couple is hard?
It's not hard for us because we don't see color. Like I fell in love with him for who he is, not his color. He just so happens to be white. But like we were getting stares and grills at the protest.
Yep, felt that.
They were like, you know what I'm saying? Like I could read on people's faces like, how is she here from Black Lives but her man is white? You know what I'm saying? It's like, mind your business.
Yeah.
My man is white, but he's here using his white privilege for good.
Yep. Because that's the one that my boyfriend also came to. And his brother, and they're both white as well. And my best friend, who's also white.
Yes. Girl, I said all Black lives, all of our lives matter and our allies. We came through united front and, you know, we continue to do our best to have our voices heard and to instill change, you know? And growing up, I know you've heard this, you know, be the change you want to see. That never mattered more than this year.
Yeah.
I have always read that, heard that, been told that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm the change I want to see. But like this year, things became a reality without hesitation.
Absolutely. Wow. And have you had to give your kids like the talk yet about, you know, being biracial?
Girl.
Or when do you have to do that? And like, what do you even say? I'm like,
so I have stress. I started having this conversation with my 8-year-old because she's very aware. But I consider my daughters to be young Black women. Their mother is Black, they're Black. But when it does come to their fathers, it's like, okay, so you're not 100% Black. So let me break it down. What's happening right now? So when all this started going on, I had conversations with their dads, and I'm like, "Hi, you have a Black daughter. Like, you need to be on your shit about coming through on your end to show her that her life matters, you know." And I had some cooperation from my oldest daughter's father, but my 4-year-old, her dad's white, and he was like, Jasmine, he was like, I don't know what to do.
Oh, hell no.
Jasmine. I was like, show up, show out, post something, be helpful. Your daughter's Black. Like, it's not a good look, you know? It was just very unsettling. And she's 4, and I don't know like what to say to her. I don't want her to feel like, because she's very, very intelligent, but I don't want her to feel like, you know, I have any ill will against her dad because he's not coming through to, you know, stand by her side at such a monumental moment in history. But she's 4.
Right.
You know, my 8-year-old is aware, but she's not. I don't know. It's like she like knows, but she doesn't want to get involved. She's like, Black Lives Matter, Mom. I know. I'm Black. And then she'll go do something else. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Okay. And you know, it's not like we could take them to the protests. It's too many people. Too hustle and bustle. They got little legs. It'd be a screaming fest. They'd be tired early. They need to eat, go to the bathroom. It's just too much. Kids are a lot. So, you know, all that we can do is just like keep them up to date as PG-13 as possible. And I do my best to do that. I kind of read my kids at the time I'm going to tell them something of importance and value, and you know, I'll dull it down a little bit so they comprehend what I'm saying. But that they're still aware. Like I have to, my 4-year-old, she's aware of her color, but she doesn't know why. And like she'll see her dad and she'll see me, but you know, it just doesn't register.
Yeah.
So as she gets older and as we continue to fight for justice, she's gonna have to get involved in it because her mother's involved in it, her future stepfather is involved in it. She's not gonna have a choice. And then honestly. And then at that point, when she's old enough to understand like what's actually going on, like my mom's Black, my dad's white, and my white father isn't doing anything to prove that my Black life matters, she's going to be old enough to let her father know how she feels about his lack of action. And I'm going to leave that up to her.
Yeah.
You know, my oldest one, she's doing her best, but she's very focused in school. And I feel like that positive energy is all that she needs at 8. But as she gets older, she'll be aware too. Her father does his best, you know. But that's all we can do. It's always going to be an awkward conversation.
Yeah.
You know, we don't make race a thing in my house. So it's not like they're walking around like, I'm mixed. I'm Spanish and Black, and then you're white and Black, and we're by. Like, we don't do that up in here.
Yeah.
You know, we're Black women, and then Papa's white, period. The end. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, there's no confusion or in between.
Yeah.
We are Black women. Okay, we're going to stand for Black women because they're going to grow up and have Black women. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, no matter who their partners are, they're still half Black.
Yeah.
And if you got an ounce of Black in you, you Black. You know what I'm saying? No one to tell you. Okay?
Period.
Don't know what to tell you. You know, and that stands for everyone who is in denial about how Black they really are.
Yes. Period.
But
Queen,
you know,
you
girl,
tell them.
Okay. It's simple, girl. They just it has to register, you know?
Yeah, exactly. For me, it didn't register for a long time.
It takes time. And that's good because some kids never do. They never come around to it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's a great thing that you did eventually listen. It's better late than never.
Yeah. It's what college is exactly.
Yeah.
What
it's that diversity for you.
The diversity is nothing. Your eye doesn't even have a lot of diversity, but
I know. I'm trying to be positive. Trying to manifest diversity. You see I did a finger gun. It wasn't authentic. Diversity. Rhode Island's not diverse.
No.
Oh,
I have one more question for you.
Ask away.
Okay. What is your advice to Black women who are scared to grow up in this country right now?
Girls, we've been through way worse. This is bad, but it could be way worse. Like, throw this joint back 60 years ago, and you definitely had a reason to be scared then. Now, we have a lot more rights.
Yep.
No, we're not treated equally yet,
Yeah.
but we've come a long way.
Yeah.
We don't have to use our own bathrooms.
Yeah.
There's no segregation. Racism is still very much a walking, living, breathing pest, but it's a lot better than what it used to be. There's no back of the bus for us. We sit anywhere that we want. It's great. We get paid well, not our worth all the time, but well. We don't get pennies. Most of us have gone into like industries that were male dominated, white men dominated. We're doctors, we're lawyers, we're teachers, we're musicians, we're ballerinas. Like, we're taking over the world, one Black girl at a time. But this is not the time to fear. This is the time to gear up, get your mind, your heart, and your physical body into shape. Okay, strap them boots on, honey, because 2021 about to be a roller coaster if 2020 wasn't the beginning. You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, this is our life, and we have to adapt, but make it work for us and not against us. So don't be scared. We got this.
Yeah.
Beyonce said, girls run the world. Okay. She meant that. And I believe those words. Okay. But since she's a Black woman, I know she meant Black women run the world. And I'm going to stand by that. I read in between her lyrics.
Yeah.
And that's what I got
She
from
knew
that.
we would get it. Perfect.
She knew that song was necessary that far, like that long ago. It's more relevant now. It's more relevant now. you know,
I would 1,000% agree with that.
she knew.
Oh my God. Well, thank you so much for having this conversation. Very important conversation that y'all
Of
should have
course.
listened to and taken some notes on.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I hope so.
Mhm.
Learn a little something.
Thank you so much.
I'm saying. Thank you for having me, babe. I appreciate this. This was great.
Yeah.
This was great.
I am so glad that Diamond got to come by today and give us a little bit about her experiences and her wisdom. I absolutely love her. We always have an amazing time. And now let's get into the polls that I posted on my Instagram story. So I did post Instagram stories to my regular Instagram. I posted 4 stories. I posted the question, support Black Lives Matter, ? I put a yes or no, why or why not. Is systemic racism real? Yes or no? If not, why? Is white privilege real? Yes or no? Why or why not? And for the last question, I put, what have you done for BLM as a privileged individual? And people got to type that one in. We had, I think, an awesome turnout. I absolutely loved it, and I'm excited for you guys to hear the results and hear my feedback from them. Starting off with the very first one is, do you support Black Lives Matter? Why or why not? So the results were great. Back in, I believe, March, April, May, when everything was kind of going on and starting, I really tried to clean out, for the most part, the people that didn't support it, but that was not many people. That was not many people whatsoever. And people that didn't really agree with it kind of just left as they came. I know that I kind of changed a lot of people's minds from it through lives that I've done and through answering questions. So that was really good. So this first one is a little more like just to see, because I kind of already knew the results were going to be pretty close to this. So 99% said yes and 1% said no, why or why not. So that means 414 people voted yes and only 5 people voted no. Out of the 5 people that voted no, none of them were people of color. None of them were women. So, I did message all of them saying, oh, do you mind responding to the why or why not? Just to kind of see the results from that. One person kind of was explaining it, and it didn't really sound like he didn't support Black Lives Matter. It was just more of the, riots. And again, that's something that you can educate yourself on. If we can, and I say this all the time, but, I go back and forth. It's really hard for me. If we can support the cops who are not bad and, kind of differentiate, tell the difference between the good and bad ones, and you can tell the difference between protesters and riots. But really, nobody wants to tell the difference between protesters and riots, so why would I want to tell the difference between good cops and bad cops, especially when it's so systemic? So yeah, the only person that kind of is so against all of these across the board, all these polls across the board, this is what he responded with. And I'm not going to expose his name, just because I'm not going to give anyone that clout. There's no reason to. But just to know, like, in the back of your mind that this is what people think. He said, BLM cares more about tearing down the system than Black lives. Again, the system was not built to support Black lives, right? It's not so much tearing it down, it's rebuilding it so everyone is equal. I personally do not agree with abolishing the police. I know a lot of people do. I know Diamond mentioned that a little bit. Abolishing, I think I need to look more into it, really. Defunding, I'm on the fence with as well. I mean, our schools are getting defunded every single day. So it's like, why not give the same energy to our schools that are getting defunded that you give to the police when people are talking about defunding the police? The police need better training. They need more training. They need to get a degree in criminal justice. They need to do more to prevent these things from happening. And that's period. That's the bottom line. I don't know why you wouldn't want to agree with them having more training. You're really trusting these people with guns and, so much power when they're only going to training for such little time. You would never do that with your doctors. You would never do that with somebody that does your plumbing. Like, so why not hold police to the same standard? The second poll that I posted was, is systemic racism real? And I put under systemic, not systematic. If not, why? So 387 people put yes, 10 said, oh, I'm looking at the wrong one, my bad. 339 said yes, and 4 said no. And, systemic racism is all about it being embedded in, how the system was brought up. Housing, school, the justice system. I mean, literally everything. Healthcare, politics. It could go on and on, right? And this is something that I just cannot explain to people anymore. The fact that you cannot see that when the Constitution was written, created all men equally. It's been going around, obviously. I mean, we learn it in every single year of school. America was not built to treat all men equally. Like, women were not treated equally. People of color, no people of color were treated equally. The only people they were looking out for back then were white men. If you've ever taken a history class, I don't know how that's so hard to see. So that's what I'm going to say. So that was a 99 to 1% ratio again. The only one that kind of talked about the reason why they voted no. Systemic racism is rare, but it's not a major problem in today's society. Well, that's just not true. So today's society, I don't know if you are looking around at today's society, but I'm thinking it's a real big problem. So I don't know, just blows my mind. It really, you have to do your own research. I've said it a billion times. I saw a story earlier, actually, I'm going to go to it. And it says, use Google instead of your Black friend, right? Because everyone these past couple of months were relying on all these Black people to educate them. And I fell for it. I was like, yeah, I'll educate all of you. But what is that doing? That's just, for me, it created more anxiety. It created more stress in my life. And it wasn't making me happy. As much as I love educating people, people don't listen, right? They're going to, at the end of the day, they're going to believe what they want to believe. As much as it's my job to educate my friends and family who are not getting it, it's not my job to educate everyone on it, because you should be wanting to do that yourself. But here I am, still doing it anyways. On to the next. Is white privilege real? This one was the biggest, I guess, divide. Not even a divide, again, because a lot of people on my Instagram already know the vibe. So I would probably, if I wanted true statistics, then I would probably need to do it on not my platform, but any if I did it on a neutral platform. I don't have a lot of people that are neutral, so any platform it's on, it's going to go one way or the other. But we're trying here, so I just wanted to take a chance and post these on my personal one. So I guess the difference was, is white privilege real? 97% said yes, 3% said no. So that was the most one that kind of had different results, like I said. So 387 for yes and 10 for no. And this one really caught me by surprise, I guess, that this many people, I don't know why, I'm not surprised by anything anymore, but I don't know how many times, again, that it has to be said or posted or, proven that white privilege is real. White privilege is real, and we talked about that in the episode, obviously, with Diamond. It's real, and you can't just not think it's real because you don't think it's real. Your opinion is not fact. Opinions are not fact. White privilege is real. Somebody commented, white people aren't oppressed slash abused because they are white. People of color are. Stole with the words right out of my mouth. I don't know why you guys want to be, like, I'm not just talking to, sorry. I don't know why white people want to be oppressed so bad. And they get so offended when people say you have white privilege. Having white privilege is not a bad thing. I think that's where everyone's getting mixed up. White privilege is not a bad thing. If you're using it for bad, then it's a bad thing, of course. But use your privilege. Because you are white, you are not a minority. You are not. So stop acting like you are. And you are not oppressed. I don't know why white people want to be oppressed so bad. It's not awesome. It's terrible. And this is exactly the results we get from it. Really. Like, it's just absolutely blows my mind. So the only person that responded out of those 10 people said, white privilege is a useless term because it discounts the struggle everyone faces. But it doesn't. White privilege is not about your struggles, right? It's not about how you grew up. It's not about how, people always say, I don't have white privilege because I was poor. It's not talking about if you were poor or not. It's saying you do not have the struggles that people of color do because of the color of your skin, right? So you do not suffer from systemic racism. You are not oppressed. You don't have to worry about your hair not being professional. That's something that I always think about. There's so many things I could really go on, but it's real and it's alive. So use your white privilege to the best of your ability. And that was my next question. What have you done for BLM as a privileged individual? I love all the responses I gotten. So many people are saying, donations. I've been learning as much as I can about how to become actively anti-racist, because at this point, if you are just sitting back and watching, what are you doing? You're not doing anything. You have to be anti-racist. There's no more, I'm not racist. I'm not racist. But, your cousin is, and you don't want to stop him from talking about people of color, about how they are ruining this country. No, you don't want to stop them. But if you were anti-racist and you were using your privilege for good, you would stop him, right? It's just little things like that. Educating myself is what a lot of people have been saying. That's amazing. That's the least you can do, right? That's the least that anyone can do on situations like this, is just, educate yourself, ask questions. And that's amazing. So I really congratulate all of you for wanting to educate yourself further. Going to rallies, having tough conversations with my family, protests, buying from small Black businesses. That's amazing. Donating to organizations, trying to educate other people, being very open on social media about it. That's huge too. It could go on and on. I'm reading them and they're just so amazing. Signed petitions, emailing state representatives. Yes, absolutely. Signing more petitions. So good. This is exactly what we can do as millennials and Gen Zers, right? It's come to a point where, like Diamond said, we've all come together for this one occasion to educate the people that are uneducated. The fact that so many people are for BLM and for the cause and educating their family and educating themselves is, to me, what my America is about. Why I would stand for the flag for those people, or kneel for the flag, because my America was not built for me. It wasn't. So I really love these responses. I love these polls. I love being able to kind of translate them to all of you and tell you all the results and say, these uneducated people are still out here. So, you know, keep using your voice, keep using your privilege, and that's all we can do, right? That's all I wanted to say for the end of this episode. I really loved today's episode. Again, it is such a topic that I'm so passionate about. I'm so glad I can convey it to all of you guys. Next week's episode is going to be absolutely amazing. It's going to be awesome. So get ready for that. And I'm really excited to see you guys next week to help you grow into your potential. This is Jasmine with the Adult Algorithm signing off. Bye.